before we dig in, guys, thank you for clicking the video, but I want to ask you something. What do you think is the difference between a solopreneur over here and what we would call an entrepreneur over here? Well, one over here is a solo individual. They're not leading anything except themselves. Over here, we have people, and people deal with people problems, and that's why we need leaders. We need leaders to help people work through their problems, if that makes sense. So what we need to do is figure out how to work with people and how to help them develop themselves and solve their problems along the way, and hopefully not quit, protect that mindset, and help them develop their skill sets over time so they can become a successful person. Now, I currently run an organization here at eXp Really with about 2,500 agents. Currently, in the past 30 days, we've added over 170 agents to our organization. Now, it took a lot of leadership strategies and training people on leadership in different ways to help develop these leadership teams that operate all around the country and all around the world now that are building this organization. So let me teach you some of the things I've taught some of the agent leaders in our organization that helped them become better leaders and helped us develop this large organization. And I want to give you about 5 actionable items, and let's dig into them right now. Number 1, guys, let's get right into it. Under promise, over deliver. I was asked to come and give 5 talking points on leadership by the company. I'm actually going to give you guys 7. Possibly 8, we'll see. Make it to the end of the video to find out, right? So what I want you guys to understand is under promising, over delivering is a massive commitment to your organization to show them that not only are you there, you're willing to do more for them than you actually promised that you'd actually do. And most people do the opposite. They they massively overpromise, and then they underdeliver, letting their organization down, creating a view from the bottom side looking up that I don't have a great leader up here, I don't have someone I can trust, I don't have someone I can follow, and they will let me down. And when they don't have the confidence that the leadership is there, these people will sit down, break down, will not do what they need to do. Whereas the opposite is, I believe in this person, they believe in me. When you underpromise, over-deliver, you're showing that you're believing in your organization, that you're willing to invest in the organization with time, money, and emotion. And when they know that you believe in them, they will believe in you, and everything will work out better as far as the synergistic nature, the culture, and the growth of that business and organization. Let's go on to number 2. Now here's number 2, guys. Let's call this gear shifting. Now what is gear shifting? It's the respect for your partners to look at them as a human being. Now you're going to have dictator leaders and then you're going to have real leaders. Now what a real leader is someone that doesn't have a one-step or one-trick pony or one-directional leadership strategy. They're not just ruling by force with my way or the highway or iron fist. They're actually looking at everybody as an individual person. They're looking them in the eye. They're saying, who is this person? What is in their heart? What is their goals? Or what are their goals? And where do they want to take their family in their future? And how can I help them get to that future? So some people over here have a one-speed lead, meaning all they do is treat everybody the same, run over everybody, and run through fear. And they try to create loyalty through dependency, not through respect. And then on this other side is, I'm going to shift gears, right? Gear shift. I'm going to look at John and say, well, John, he's 19 years old coming out of college. And Susan over here is 25 years in the business with a family, and she's been doing this, this, and this, and runs all these other businesses. Would you advise these people the same? Would you lead these individuals the same? Of course not. So what you need to do to be a great leader is identify the upcoming leaders in your organization, find out who they are. The more you know about them, the more you're going to grow. So great leaders know the names of their front line, or in our business model over here, right? They know their names. The better leaders know their family's names. They know their kids' names, but the best leaders, they know their dog's name, their cat's name, right? So the more you know your partners, the more you care about them, and the more you know and the more you care, the faster you're going to grow. On both sides, you looking down and them looking up. Let's go on to number 3, guys. So number 3 is this, guys, setting expectations. If you're a leader, you're leading people. And when people follow you, you need to set expectations because there's a top-down looking down expectation, and then there's a bottom-up looking up towards the top expectation, meaning what do I expect from my partners coming into this opportunity that I'm working with them on? Do I expect them to put money into the business? Do I expect them to put time in? When? Am I expecting to be on mastermind calls? What are my expectations for my future partners to get my time? And then on the flip side, they need to let you know what their expectations are of you as a leader. Because if we don't ask these expectation questions on both sides, then how do we know the expectations of each other? Now, here's what's going to happen in a leadership role. When you do not set the expectations with somebody, they're going to put their own expectations on you. And unfortunately, guys, many times these expectations, they're unfairly put on you. Meaning you bring someone over to work at EXP or whatever company you're working at, they come on over here, and on your side, you think that they're just going to come over here and be a partner. You're going to do the same things you've been doing with your other partners. But on their side, they think you're going to handhold them, take their hand here, do their marketing, do negotiating, raising their money, doing everything start to finish, and then cashing the check, but they put it in their bank account. Basically meaning doing everything for them. So if they have these huge expectations on you and you don't meet those expectations, guess what happens? They feel you let them down. But what really happened is they put unnecessary expectations on you. Nobody talked about it, and you don't know how to act around it because you didn't even know what they were expecting you to do. So great leaders have expectation calls or expectation understandings with their organization, each leadership group, and as the agents come in or whatever business you're building, understanding how to make this work correctly as far as two-sided, both looking up, or one looking up, one looking down, the expectation of the two in a partnership role. Because if you don't do this, guys, you're going to have communication breakdowns, and then guess what happens? Quick attrition. They're going to get frustrated. They're going to feel like you underpromised, or they're going to feel like you overpromised, underdelivered, and they're going to feel like you let them down, and then they're going to leave, if that makes sense. Now let's go on to number 4. Now here's number 4, guys. Do not create an inner circle and an outer circle inside your organization. Now an inner circle, outer circle would look like this. Let's say you're running a business and you have 100 people inside your organization. Now in a mastermind call, let's say there's a bunch of agents on the call. You're going to have the inner circle develop over time if you do not protect this, meaning you're going to have some people outside of it, some people in it. Now, who's the inner circle? These are just the active ones. These are the ones that are always involved in the call. They're the ones that feel like they have entitlement to speak on every call, and they're the ones that are going to be talking all the time. You may have 5, 10, 25% tops inner circle and the rest of your organization in the outer circle. But what's happening to these people over here? They're looking at these children getting all the attention all the time, and they're getting frustrated because they feel left in the dark. So what you need to do is do not let an outer circle, inner circle weird dynamic develop. Start asking the outer circle to come into the conversation. So if I have John, Susan, Rick, Erica, and all these different agents, they're quiet on the call, what am I going to do? I'm not going to call on the people that are always talking. I'm not going to just let them talk all the time. I'm going to reach past the inner circle, go out to the outer circle, grab these quiet voices, pull them in, force them out of their comfort zone, and make them feel seen and accepted and welcomed, and make them feel like a part of the group. Because if you don't, if someone feels outside the group for long enough, guess what they're going to do? They're never going to get inside that group ever. And they're going to leave and go to the next opportunity or the next company. So do not allow inner circle, outer circles, guys. I know you're going to have close friendships and people that you have priority time commitments with. But by letting the rest of your organization know that they don't matter and only a few people do, you're going to find out what happens long term if you keep this mentality in your business. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Number 5, guys, here it is. Leaders create certainty in uncertain moments. And right now, we are definitely in a very uncertain moment in the world that we're living in with the real estate market and all the craziness post-pandemic, right? So what do leaders do when the world's melting down and everybody's panicked and nobody knows what's going to happen? There's no certainty anywhere. A leader steps in and walks right in and says, don't worry, I'm here, no need to fear. There's a certain direction we're going, and I'm convicted that this is the right direction that's going to get us out of these problems, pain, suffering, lack of faith, lack of hope, and we're going to end up at the end of this, and it's going to be a beneficial and an awesome and a great future, and I'm going to show you the direction, so just follow the strength and follow the conviction, right? They can control their emotions. They have what's called EI, or emotional awareness, or emotional intelligence, that in tough times with external emotional pressure in a recession or depression where things are happening to the macro level, meaning lots of people at a time, they're the ones that are strong enough to stand up against their emotions, stay strong, find a convicted path, create certainty around that path, and get others behind that certainty. They lead people out of uncertain times. So think about what you can do for your organization right now to create that hope, faith, and certainty in them, and they're going to follow you, and you're going to be a better leader. Number 6, guys, let's dig into it. This is called guarding the garden. What they understand is there's a positive mindset and a negative mindset. A negative mindset is going to be weeds. A positive mindset, I guess, would be like roses or something like that. And in your organization, you're going to have waves of different types of negative and positive emotions that come in and out. You could have it with individuals. You could have it with groups of individuals within groups, if that makes sense. You could have 2 or 3 people always negative over here, but over here, everybody's always positive. So what are we trying to do? In group settings, leaders do what? They remove the weeds and plant the roses. So I'm going to call on positive people, people that have good questions. I'm going to bring positive voices on the mastermind call. I'm not going to ask the people that are negative, always whining, complaining, bringing negativity into the call. If I know they've asked negative questions in the past, why would I bring them up in front of a group? They're going to put negative weeds inside the garden of everybody else. So the next thing is I'm always trying to help them pull the negative thought processes and the negative weeds out of their own mind. When I see someone that's getting extra negative or they're going down a negative loop, my job as a leader is to reach down, help them do what's called a pattern redirection, get out of that negative thought process. And you guys can learn this through watching my YouTube channel and going, on the internet watching, pattern disruption, how to shift emotional states and things like that. But we need to find out where the mindset's at, why it's negative, how to break that and shift it back to a positive mindset. So we're always guarding the garden. We're trying to block negative things coming in it, and we're trying to fill it with positive things, if that makes sense, because negativity in a negative person, just one, can be a nasty nightmare and a virus inside your organization that can scatter through it very quickly. So leaders develop other leaders by pulling the weeds out of the garden, protecting the negative thoughts, in replacing them with positive thoughts. Okay, let's go on to number 7. Number 7, guys, as a leader, it is very important to understand. We lead by example, but we do not do for others. We need to make sure that we're not solving problems for others, but helping them understand how to solve their own problems. Listen to what I'm going to say very closely. As a leader, it is not to build someone else's business for them in the business that we're building. It is our job to build the belief within our partners that they can build their own business. I hope you listen to what I said there very carefully. What my job is this. I'm not trying to go do things for others. This is a big problem that you're going to have in your business. Think about how many parents did too many things for their children, right? So if I think back into like when I was growing up, my mom used to help edit my high school papers and things like that. She was a book publisher or worked at a book publishing company. And so what happened was she would edit these papers and I wasn't getting the corrective mistakes and learning why I was making mistakes. And guess what happened? Still today, I misspell words and have grammar errors from time to time. Now, I'm not completely an idiot, right? But sometimes I do things that should be common sense to do, but it's because I had someone, a leader, my mother, do too many things for me. So here's what you need to do when people come to you with problems. Do not solve their problem for them. Show them how to solve it. Don't just go do it for them, right? Because guess what happens? They didn't learn how to do it on their own. You want to inspire them to do it on their own and then encourage them after it in response being, I'm proud of you. You should be proud of yourself. You stood up against adversity, you figured it out, and now look at how much better path it was. Look at how much you grew. Look at how much you accomplished as compared to if I had just done this for you, right? It's very important. We do not do everything for others. We inspire them and create a belief within them that they can do it on their own, okay? Let's go into the last one, guys, and wrap this up. Hopefully this helped, guys, but we're going to end it with this one. Now, here's the last message I want to give you guys. Hold all your promises to your partners and especially to yourself. If you do not hold your promises to your partners and you say you're going to be at a meeting and you don't, show up. Or you say you're going to create a course and you don't do it. Or you say you're going to give leads out and then you don't do it. Guess what happens? The trust breaks down. And guess what? If there's no trust, there is no business. Leadership is about trust. And leadership is about compassion and creating belief and hope for others. And so if you break down the trust within your business, they don't trust you, they will never follow you. And guess what? If they still don't believe that you trust in them and that you believe that they have the opportunity to get to where you're trying to help them get to, meaning do they actually believe that I'm a good baseball player, can I hit home runs, or are they just saying this to me, right? They need to have the trust that you believe in them and vice versa. And what we need to do is we need to create a trust factor. They need to be seen and accepted is what they want. You need to make sure that you're never lying to anybody in your business, holding your promises to them, and at the same time, making sure each partner, each person in your organization is feeling seen and accepted. Because if there's no trust, they feel like they're not important because they're not seen and nobody cares about them and they're not accepted, they will leave. And you broke down as a leader and did a lot of things that do not work for leadership and you ran people out of your organization and you're going to continually have to rebuild it. I hope this helps, guys. These are tips that help me with my leadership background or my leadership journey. Hopefully they can help you with yours, and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.